Wait.
I know, because you saw me tearing it apart all day, right? Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Next there. Right here. It says we're live. We should do something. Otherwise, they'll think we don't know what we're doing. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Village Board for Monday, the 2nd of August, 2021. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato.
Here.
Trustee Kruger.
Present.
Trustee Vito.
Here.
Trustee Lang.
Here.
Trustee Papantos.
Present.
Trustee Vogel.
Here.
President Horker.
Here. You have before you the minutes of the regular meeting of July 19th, 2021. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Trustee Vogel, second, Trustee Papantos. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato.
Yes.
Trustee Kruger.
Yes.
Trustee Vito.
Yes.
Trustee Lang.
Yes.
Trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
Do we have any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes this evening.
Excellent. Proclamations. Clerk Brady, please.
Okay. Is she here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Tracy Sefcik, cross-country cycle for vets. Whereas Wheeling resident Tracy Sefcik is a veteran of the United States Marine, and whereas in 2018, Ms. Sefcik undertook to travel by bicycle from California to Florida, a journey of 3,142 miles, raising funds for awareness to support her fellow veterans. And whereas Ms. Sefcik plans another epic bicycle journey from August 15th to October 1st of this year, beginning and ending in northern Illinois, traversing the Great Lake region and observing the 20th anniversary of the September 11 attacks at the Freedom Memorial Tower in New York City. And whereas, and again, designating her journey cross-country cycle for vets, Ms. Sefcik is raising funds for the Oscar Mike Foundation, an organization that provides injured vets with opportunity to stay active throughout participation in adaptive sports. And whereas Ms. Sefcik extraordinary personal achievements, along with her generosity in making them occasions to highlight the service of others, merit recognition by the entire Wheeling community and is subject of considerable hometown pride. Patrick Horker, President of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby congratulate Tracy Sefcik on the past success of her cross-country cycle for vets and calls upon the citizens of Wheeling to support her upcoming journey and the worthy cause for which she rides.
Ms. Sefcik, would you please come here?
Come up here.
You are not in the Marines. I'm very sorry. Brain just stopped right then. It actually says Navy. Your last journey
My
was a
last
success?
journey was in 2018. I had a goal of $25,000, raised over $30,000 for
I'll step
Oscar.
back and you can take the mask off and speak, and then everybody will be able to hear you. Microphone.
Okay. My last one was in 2018 for the Gary Sinise Foundation. I had a goal of $25,000, raised over $30,000 for the Gary Sinise Foundation. I'm actually leaving August 15th for my second ride from Chicago, or actually North Chicago, Great Lakes Naval Base, to New York City and back for Oscar Mike Foundation. I had a goal of $25,000. I'm just shy of $27,000.
So how can people contribute more if they want to?
You can go on my website, crosscountrycycle4vets.com, and there's a link that'll take you straight over to the Oscar Mike Foundation to make a donation.
Excellent, thank you. Now in your time in the Navy, you served in Japan and California and
Correct.
retired?
No, 4 years in.
You didn't retire,
No.
you didn't re-up?
Yeah, no. But 4 years and then got married to a sailor, so.
Can't get out of the Navy.
Did my 20 years one way or another.
You really are an example for our village of what people can do for the community, for the larger community as a whole, and it really is an honor to have you among us. This is just a small token of our appreciation for what you're working on and what you're accomplishing towards helping those who keep our country safe and free. So thank you very much. I'll try to keep a little distance there. This is for you. Do we have somebody taking a picture? That. Citizens' concerns and comments.
We have one. Members of the public may address the board with comments regarding issues relevant to village business. No citizen shall speak more than 5 minutes without consent of the board. Members of the general public who wish to address the board must sign a request to speak from prior to the commencement of the public meeting. And we have John Jakemski.
And just as a reminder, this is time for citizens to make some comments and express their concerns and for the boards to listen. Neither the board nor staff will be answering questions.
Hello, everybody. My name is John Jakemski. I just got the question. I got property in 990 Edward Street. And the end of my property where I got the house, I got another property. And the street ends in the end of my property. The property is still mine, you know, the other one, but the street not going, nobody could buy it. Nobody, because they can't get in. You know, I got a couple buyers, but they say to buy them a helicopter and they could get in.
We're pretty much just here to listen. So
Yeah, I just want to find out how that's going to be with the street, end of the street. We need like add 25 feet street so somebody could get in.
who would he talk to about this?
Frankly, I'm not sure what the question is, but I think the easiest thing is to connect you with our Director of Public Works, who can work through any questions you have. And should they be about future development, we can make sure that that's assigned to the correct.
I called him up, and German come, and he told me he's not going to send a crew because that's too small a job for the village to do that street.
Are you talking about street repair?
No, it's a street that's grass. It's got to be at like 25 feet so somebody could get into that property.
Agree. Yeah, I think the appropriate conversation needs to be with the Director of Public Works, and we could certainly move it to the board if that's necessary, but I think the conversation should start with him to make sure that we understand exactly what you're looking for and what our opportunities are or are not. So he will give you his card, and the two of you can connect, and we can go from there.
So do I got to talk to him on the phone or talk now?
You could talk to him right now, actually.
Thank you.
Outside the meeting.
Staff reports.
Completely.
As soon as Dan's done.
He knows.
Yeah. It'll just be a moment.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Kaup. You have something to report for us.
I do. President Horker, members of the board, I wanted to give you an update on the ongoing saga that is the Wolf Road project. As you know, this is an Illinois Department of Transportation project, and I'd like to say that we're almost at the home stretch, but that's not the case. Right now, we're expected to complete the project at the end of 2022. But we think that the majority of the work, based on what we have been told from Civil Tech, which is the engineering consulting firm representing the interests of the state, that the work will be complete around August of next year. The current one-way traffic plan is scheduled to end this year, September 30th. If they do not complete the temporary pavement by then, they'll be assessed liquidated damages. I'm fairly confident that it'll be close to September 30th when the two-way traffic is finally opened, but we don't have control over that. If it's not, then they will be incurring penalties of about $24,000 a week. After that, the temporary pavement will allow for two-way traffic over the winter. During that time, the contractor will be responsible for maintaining the aggregate driveways, the entryways into all of the adjacent private properties. That'll be between end of November, Thanksgiving-ish, through March of next year. This past Friday, the contractor just completed their first of a series of what we're estimating is going to be 8 or 9 concrete pours. These are very long pours that require the contractor to work early and stay late to be able to saw cut the necessary joints into the green, fresh concrete. They typically will be working from about 5 a.m. until 10:30 p.m. on those days. We did not receive any complaints this time, which is good. We were expecting that we would receive complaints after we gave them authority to start early and end late, but that didn't happen. As you know, Strong Avenue right now is shut down westbound at Wolf. That started May 14th of this year, and it was supposed to last 5 or 6 weeks, and obviously it's gone well past that. That was based on national material shortage, and also it was primarily due to our incorrect atlas information on where our water mains were located and the size of the water mains. The pavement realignment will be requiring fire hydrant relocations, which is going to result in additional water shutoffs. This is something that we knew about since the design phase of the project 3 years ago, and we're working with residents to make sure that they're given prior notice. Although the state does not have a system for residents to be able to sign up for project updates through email or push notifications, the village has been trying to be as proactive as possible in assisting with the communication, both by way of handing out letters or notices, as well as knocking on doors. Acura, the contractor, has responsibility of certain specific types of notifications with certain amounts of lead time. Staff at the village has been leveraging our ability to control the hours that they can work by requiring that they give additional notice. So far, we haven't had that many calls of complaint. Most of them are more calls of concern. As you're all aware, this is something that is definitely a large impact on our residents and on traffic control, traffic flow throughout the community. We continue to manage both the hours of work for the contractor and the concerns of the residents. And as always, if you hear anything in the community, please feel free to forward those residents' concerns onto me or any staff at the village. I'm happy to answer any other questions that you may have on the project.
Trustee Papantos, then Trustee Vogel, and then Trustee Ravato. Trustee Papantos?
Thank you. Director Kaup, the intersection of Dundee and Wolf, there's a lot of work going on at Dundee. Is that part of it? Is there going to be a right-hand turn lane if you're going east, or what is that's happening?
Most of the work that's happening right now is concrete curb work, improving the access to some of the private properties. And so it is a part of what they're considering adjacent to the Wolf Road improvement. As far as the turn lane, I don't remember seeing a turn lane on the plans. The road cross-section is going to be 3 lanes of travel throughout, is the purpose of the project, to make sure that there's always a turn lane in the middle of the 2 travel lanes.
Okay. And will the Dundee project kind of, during the winter months, will we have both lanes open, or?
Likewise, yes. So full travel will be opened over the winter months. They're not going to be working at all between the end of November and, well, the contract says through April, but Civil Tech is suggesting that they'll start back up in March. And during that time, all lanes of travel, even though some of the travel lanes will be shifted, will be open.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Vogel, then Trustee Ruffalo.
Did they give us an indication of when Strong would reopen?
Strong is going to be open, they're estimating, by September 30th as well, but then they're going to shut Mayor down. So they're going to transition. A lot of that work has to do with what we, the local agency, were looking to accomplish with the project, which is the relocation of a number of water mains that existed under the roadway there, with us putting new concrete roadway that we're hoping lasts 30 or 35 years. We wanted to make sure that we weren't going to have a lot of old pipe conflicts, water main breaks, and the like. So we're hoping that the street westbound at Wolf on Strong is open by the end of September.
And then at that point, and when that opens, they're going to close down Mayor immediately? Or are they going to wait till the spring?
I don't know. The plan showed that they were going to be closing it this year, but the Strong shutdown obviously went much longer than what it was supposed to. So I don't know. They still have 2 months between September 30th and the time when they're going to stop working this year. So it may be this year, but I'll find out for sure and get back to you.
Okay, because it seems like too often they shut something down just before winter, and then nothing gets done for 4 months. And if that's the case, I mean, that's really an inconvenience.
Yeah,
To
absolutely.
the residents, and if they can avoid it, if they're not going to get the work done, or not even going to start on it, I think we want to stay on top of it, make sure they don't shut it down.
I'll check with Civil Tech tomorrow. One of the concerns that we have is that we have very little control over what actually happens as far as the construction is concerned, and that's because these state contracts are written such that they have until specific dates certain to finish certain portions of the project. And if they don't, then they incur liquidated damages. But a lot of times, they're allowed to do things like close roads down as long as they don't run afoul of whatever specification is in the contract. What we can do is appeal, but we don't have the ability to affirm. But I'll find out for sure, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Vogel. Trustee Ruffalo.
Thanks. Dan, were the residents notified of this expanded time, the 5:30 to 10:30, or is it just too big of an area?
No, we made sure that every resident that was affected was notified with a door knock and a flyer, especially those residents who live in the apartments just south of Dundee on the west side of Wolf, those dark brown apartments, that one of their driveways was completely closed down based on the nature of the pour. That was something that was unavoidable. They still had access from another point in their parking lot, but we made sure that every single resident was contacted, and I think Acura was staying late. And as far as I know, as of Thursday night, all but 2 units had been contacted. They have a resident superintendent who is in constant contact with the property owner for the apartments as well.
Okay. And then this is probably a general question, about complaints. And I've seen a couple on social media, like the Nextdoor Digest. And are we monitoring those things in some way? Or if I see them, I'll just screenshot them to you, because I haven't seen any. There was some in the beginning when some people were complaining, and I don't know why they didn't call the village, about the early start times. They're starting before 7, but I know I've seen that a couple of times.
We've really been on them through Civil Tech to make sure that they're not starting prior to 7 o'clock. They're allowed to be on site at 6. They're not allowed to turn on a motor until 7 o'clock. And since, I would say, the beginning of June, they've been very responsive to that.
Good.
The only times that they haven't are when they've asked for consideration, and based on the nature of the work they're requesting, the village has given it in a reasonable way. We haven't stopped them from working, but at the same time, we understand that that's the control that we have, and we're meting out that authority to work early only when absolutely necessary.
Great, thank you.
Can I add something to that? If you would, or for anyone, we would really like complaints, questions, concerns, complaints, to come through the official process of either calling, in this case, Public Works, or filling out the form online. The social media aspect of it is just too great, but if people have questions, concerns, comments, they need to go through the official channel.
I understand completely, and though, you know, just, it's an awareness that I see.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that was more for everybody
Yeah,
than.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Rufado. You know, if you're just listening to this for the first time and you're hearing staff say we don't know what they're doing, they're not communicating with us, it's important to understand that these guys don't even communicate with themselves. You smile. And it's sort of funny, but it's sort of not, because you have the state IDOT, you have the county IDOT, and they're currently operating 3 projects in town?
They've just finished, they finished with the Elmhurst maintenance project. They have McHenry Road closed with a bridge construction, and then, of course, the Wolf Road, which is the ongoing. The bridge construction will be completed, I think they had a 60-day construction window, which is substantial, and we've received one concern call
Let's
on
not forget
that.
Wyland.
No, pardon?
Let's not forget Wyland and Lake Cook and 83.
Lake Cook is a county project, which is obviously ongoing as well, yeah.
But where I'm going with this is actually they wanted to start 2 more projects in this town because the departments didn't know that these current projects were already taking place. Is that about right?
That's about right, yes.
So, thank you, John, for getting ahead of them and pointing out that they already have the town pretty much shut down and there's not much left where they can dig without bumping into themselves. But we really have very little control over what the state and the county are doing on the state and county roads.
Yes, we definitely appreciate their enthusiasm for wanting to help Wheeling succeed. It would just be nice if there was a little bit more planning. But yes,
Anyway,
there is some communication concerns.
yes. Anyway, that's all I had to say on that. Anyone else? If there are no other comments, Clerk Brady, consent agenda.
All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be acted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the board member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. We have 11A, resolution authorizing the village president and village clerk to execute a second amendment to the amended and restated intergovernmental agreement establishing a joint emergency telephone system board with the city of Des Plaines. 11B, resolution waiving competitive bidding and approving a contract with Crown Industries Ltd. for the replacement of 2 fuel pumps and fuel management system in the amount not to exceed $43,960. 11C, ordinance amending chapter 4.32 of the Village of Wheeling's Municipal Code, alcoholic liquor dealers, specifically section 4.32.085 to increase the authorized number of Class N-V liquor license at Moe's Cafe.
Do we have any questions or concerns? If there are none, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion trustee Rufato, second trustee Papantos. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. New business, Clerk Brady.
A, presentation regarding fiscal year 2020 comprehensive annual financial report and audit process by Sikich LLC.
Mr. Kaplan, please, how'd we do?
We did well, surprisingly, given the kind of year that we had last year that everybody's aware of. But thank you, Mr. President. As the board is aware, the village completed the fiscal year 2020 audit process in June, and at that time provided the board with copies of the comprehensive annual financial report and related documents. And incidentally, for those watching at home, we have posted those documents to the transparency section of the village's website, so residents and other interested parties can view them if they are interested. As I said, 2020 was a year like no other. And despite the fact that revenue was down substantially, expenditures were also significantly down, and the village received significant federal aid, coronavirus relief aid. And as a result, the general fund ended the year with a surplus of $292,000, which was very unexpected. As we've done every year, we've asked Brian Lefevre, a partner with our auditing firm, Sikich LLP, to speak to you again this year about the audit process, which from staff's perspective went very well and resulted in another clean or unmodified opinion. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Brian and have him talk about the audit and answer any questions you might have.
And if I just may get up in front, what is a clean or unmodified opinion? Just for the benefit of everybody.
So a clean, unmodified opinion is basically the highest level of opinion that you can receive on your financial statements.
And that means?
And that means that when you go to issue bonds, those that want to purchase said bonds look to the audit to say, can I trust this financial information? And I look and I say, yes, I have a clean, unmodified opinion on the financial statements from the external auditor.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Greetings to you all. On behalf of Sikich, I'd like to thank the President and the members of the board for inviting us to present some brief comments on the report resulting from the audit of the village for your year ended December 31st, 2020. As Michael mentioned, the audit process was definitely unique this year. It was a year ago when we were working on the December 31st, 2019 audit, when we were in the field here working, and is when COVID started. And so we've been doing our work remotely. And so there's lots of Zoom meetings with team members here from the village. There's a lot more emails than there might have been in the past. So like Michael said, it's a challenging work environment, but very professional staff here at the village, along with our Sikich team, allowed us to get through essentially what's a 9-month process, working with all the departments of the village board, getting communication from all of you, making sure we focus on the areas of highest risk as it relates to the audit of the financial statements. In terms of the document itself, the comprehensive annual financial report has 3 sections: an introductory, financial, and statistical section. The financial section is what is required under the Illinois compiled statutes for a financial audit of the village. What makes it a comprehensive annual financial report is the introductory and statistical section. Within the introductory section, the village once again received an award from the Government Finance Officers Association. It's the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, the 40th year in a row that the village has received this award. So congratulations to you all for that. And for your leadership in continuing to participate in the program. Once again, I would tell you that seeing this document, knowing that there's a third-party review of this document, also adds a level of assurance to the whole process and I always relate it to issuance of bonds, but it's no different with your constituents wanting to, if they want to know financial information about the village, they look to these types of things and they understand the information that they're seeing is reliable information. In the financial section is where we actually give our opinion, and to the President's questions. Here's an unmodified opinion from an accounting language standpoint. Means that the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, free of material misstatement. So that's that clean, unmodified opinion. There's also an unmodified opinion on your compliance with laws and regulations in your TIF district. That's required for the Illinois State Comptroller's Office as well, and that's included in the comprehensive annual financial report. There was one other report issued this year, and that was due to the federal funds that you received and expended. Anytime that you expend more than $750,000 in federal funds, you're required to have a separate compliance audit, which is called a single audit, a federal single audit. And this year, your major program was that COVID-19 funding through CARES, and the total federal expenditures were over $1,057,000 for the year. And in that separate single audit report, we issued an unmodified opinion on your compliance with major programs, which was that COVID-19 program. And then we also issued an unmodified opinion on compliance with laws and regulations that could have a material impact on the village's financial statements. The last document I would point out to you in the comprehensive annual financial report is the management's discussion and analysis. This is the executive summary of your financial statements. It's the one place in the financial statements where you can give explanations of your financial position comparing 2019 with 2020. It's a great document for you to refer your constituents to should they have questions about the finances of the village. It gives them a financial snapshot, if you will, of the village. This document, along with your annual budget document, really gives them a flavor for the village's finances. In conclusion, the audit went smoothly. We received all the information that we received or that we needed on a timely basis, and all the deadlines were met, as Michael mentioned. Hard work put in by the village's staff, along with our Sikich team, got us to the point where everything was right on time. With that, I would open it up to any questions that you might have.
Questions left or right or? That appears to be it.
All right.
Thank you for your report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This was just for discussion purposes and a presentation to the board?
Correct.
Item B. Clerk Brady.
Ordinance authorizing a first amendment to the redevelopment agreement between the Village of Wheeling and Uptown 500 LLC for the development of land at 501 West Dundee Road, Wheeling, Illinois, comprising of part of the Town Center 2 TIF district of the Village of Wheeling, Cook, and Lake counties in Illinois.
Mr. Ferrolo, what do we got?
Thank you, President Horker. Before the board tonight is an ordinance authorizing a first amendment to the redevelopment agreement for the Uptown 500 development across the street. As you all know, the Uptown 500 development is a development that includes a 321 luxury residential apartment 321 unit residential apartment building, 10,500 square feet of retail space, and 444 vehicle parking structure spaces, 444 spaces. The developer has come to us for an amendment to address the cost of public improvements. Based on the initial RDA, the village has committed $6.5 million in TIF incentives to that development. It is a $64 million project. The TIF incentives are a pay-as-you-go incentive. As part of the project, IDOT has required that the intersection at Northgate and Dundee be improved in certain respects. The intersection will be widened. There will be changes in some lane configurations. And initially, under the first draft of the RDA, the engineer estimate was $150,000 for the road improvements, which the village committed to reimbursing to the developer a upon completion of the work. Through the construction of the project, it's come to be known that the cost of the intersection improvements actually were going to be go up by $638,000. So the intersection improvement total cost is $788,000. The developer has come to the village seeking additional assistance for the cost of the intersection improvements, and that was going to be upfront money once that work was completed. Managers Fondilis has negotiated with the developer over the past several months on this issue, and we've come to you with what we believe is a win-win scenario. The amendment to the RDA increases the village's or the TIF contribution by $638,000, but what it also does is reduce the interest rate on the notes that were required as part of the RDA from 7.45% all the way down to 3%. The reduction of interest rate actually will render a net savings to the village of conservatively over $100,000, even with the additional contribution of $638,000. So there are several components to the amendment. First, we will reimburse the developer for up to $788,000 for roadway improvements. The second amendment will reduce the interest rate on the TIF notes, again, from 7.45% to 3%, which will render the net savings I discussed. Third, in terms of the TIF notes, the way the $6.5 million was broken down, there was going to be a $5.5 million note on the residential component of the TIF development and a $1 million note on the retail component of the development, which is the 10,500 square feet. The amendment before you reduces the residential note from 5.5 to 4.5 million and increases the retail TIF note from 1 million to 2 million. Why this is significant is that we believe it creates a continued incentive to complete the retail. While the project is largely complete at this point, the retail is still vacant and still needs to be completed on the interior. So that is a significant change as well. Additionally, the first version of the RDA, the original RDA, required us to issue only two notes, but the two notes would be issued at the same time. The RDA required that the developer complete both the residential and retail prior to any of the notes being issued. The new amended RDA allows the retail note to be completed upon the the retail note to be issued upon the completion of the retail, and the residential note to be issued upon completion of the residential. So we're going to have two separate note issuance dates. The residential is going to be first. The residential note will be released upon a certificate of occupancy for all of the components of the residential component of the building, as well as a 40% leasing threshold having been met. That will be first. The retail note will follow when the 10,500 square foot retail center or the retail space is completed to a warm vanilla box standard, which includes HVAC systems, walls, electrical and plumbing connections, and importantly, a 65% leasing threshold. So we will be issuing the residential note first, followed by the retail, hopefully soon. But all in all, given the reduction in the interest rate, we believe this, as presented to you, creates a win-win scenario, allowing enough money to complete the roadway improvements, and at the same time, saving the TIF what we believe to be about $100,000 in an investment.
So, notes to be issued, that's the TIF obligation that we have committed to. They won't get that until those thresholds are specifically met. You met a 60% residential occupancy and a 10%?
40% residential occupancy and a 65% retail occupancy.
Okay, thank you. So Trustee Lang, you had a question, then Trustee Papantos?
I did, thank you. First of all, it's great news that we're able to save some money on this RDA as well, even though we are expending more for it. Understand that every time you wait on construction or highway construction, the price keeps going up and up, so understand. Is there anyone from the, can you have just a few questions?
Good evening.
First, good evening.
My name is Suhail Namari. I'm the project engineer on the project, and I've been
before you here, like
Yeah.
3-4 years ago.
So I, for one, very excited to see the building in its present form, and it looks like you're getting quite a few residents moving in, upwards above 60%. Is that
I believe
correct?
so. I believe the number is.
62% occupied.
Do please introduce yourself as well.
My name is Nadeem Shala. I'm the CFO for Uptown and KR Developments. We at 68% leased and 62% occupied.
That's excellent.
Yes.
And
we're doing very good. Delay from the COVID-19, like we all know, for construction and leasing, but we have been fortunate this summer, and the lease picked up very well.
Good. So maybe you can tell us what we can expect for the retail or restaurant build-out coming. Is there any progress towards that, and have there been any changes, additions?
I'm not going to lie to you. There's no concrete progress at this point, but we engaging broker, and we are actively even seeking the village help, and we're doing everything possible to get the retail in. I mean, unfortunately, also COVID-19 affected us, especially with the restaurants business. We were hoping to lease the whole location for a big, brand name, but did not work out. Now we're seeking several options, but there's nothing 100% concrete. And we're hoping in a couple of months we'll have something. We're really actively seeking and looking and researching, and we have a good broker that we work with, that we have a meeting on a weekly basis to see updates.
Well, I agree. I, for two, would like to see like a one-use restaurant, big restaurant type in there. That's me looking at that. Have you thought of, you do have some landings above that retail space. Have you thought of converting some of those to rooftop dining, for instance? Because I know a lot of restaurants that they're really looking towards that now, to have some sort of dining outdoors, and that would be a great spot unless it's already used for resident.
Actually, it's not above the retail. There's an option there. We do not have any access to it there, but we're willing to work with any restaurants that are willing to take the space. Yes, we do have a space.
So there is space above?
Yes, we do have a space above the retail. It's a limited space, but is available.
That helps,
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, and then the last question, I know we have more road construction coming, so what's our future landscaping going to look like there? Because right now, it doesn't look good at all.
We have to wait till we finish IDOT, because if we do any landscaping now, it's going to be tore up again.
Okay.
So and that's why the delay is not us, it's IDOT. And Dan Cobb is working with us on this, and he understands the frustration we have, because it's his frustration as well. So we're working on IDOT. It's a technicality regarding an easement that was granted to the property north of us, something about 10, 15 years ago, when that used to be a testing facility for the state. And we found out, IDOT found out that there's an easement that crosses the property that we are donating to them, dedicating to them, and they would not accept that property without getting a full release of that easement. And that has been quite an obstacle we've been facing. And we're not there yet. I hope within a month we should be able to get that. But that was the problem. We were thinking as soon as the construction starts this year, we're going to do IDOT work, but we couldn't because of the delay.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because it was pretty unknown that was a problem.
Yeah, that was the problem holding us up. Otherwise, we would have done IDOT. We wanted to actually do it last year, but again, we couldn't get the permit as well. So.
Okay.
I mean, according to the contractor, the road work will not take more than 2 weeks. Is that correct, Ethan? So we only need 2 weeks, but without the approval from IDOT,
Sure.
We can't start.
cannot move forward.
Okay. Fair enough. And so I will be patient with the landscaping. I know it's going to be beautiful when you're get to that stage
We're
of it?
just as anxious as you are.
Okay. I will leave it to trustee Kruger to ask you about the parking garage and the landscaping there, because you brought that up last time as well, when it's her turn. That's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee Lang. Trustee Papantos, then trustee Rufato.
Thank you. Sorry, you had to guess one way or the other. First of all, Manager Spandelos, congratulations on this negotiation. It's great work, and I don't think people realize how much work went into that. And congratulations to you for really completing a gorgeous building. And I say completing, that's my next question. When will the residential side, including all the fixes to the parking garage, I notice a lot of cars apparently parking outside, when will residential be done? Sorry, I'm getting somebody behind you too.
Consider residential done.
Haitham Barham, I'm the project manager here. Actually, residential is completed. We have nothing pending. Maybe a couple of minor signage, internal signage, that's it.
Touch-ups.
But the parking is there. It's full by the cars, by the residents. But some people, they prefer to park outside.
Is there a fee to park in the garage?
It's the fee.
Okay, because it appears that there's a lot of parking outside. Is the garage filled?
No. We are maybe 50% full, not that sort. But
50%
of the occupancy of the garage so far. I don't think we are exceeding the 50% even. But I think now the next step with the management company now to enforce the requirements to use the parking instead of parking outside. So this is, we talked about this, like having new stickers for the car and so on, so to have control on those.
The reason I ask is sooner or later, there's not going to be any guest parking. If everybody's parked outside.
I agree with you. We are aware of the problem, and like I said, we're working with the management on site to take care of this problem.
Mr. Ainsworth has something I think he wants to chime in on this.
Trustee Papantos, just to add some value. So the management company is aware of this, and there actually was some striping going on in the recent months. So you probably saw a lot of parking outside for a while. A lot of the folks that are in and out do park on the service lot temporarily, and I have spoken with the management team, and they will enforce the parking and make sure people do park in the parking structure. Because when a unit is assigned, they ask if they have a car, and they do get a designated space and then a garage access specifically for it. So while there are cars out there and there are some maintenance guys still working in the building on other areas in the common areas, to their end, the management company is very well aware, they're going to be aggressively going after making sure people do park there to free up that parking for the retail space.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Rufato?
Thank you. This is more of a comment to what the gentleman was talking about, IDOT. And I never realized this until somebody from outside the village pointed this out, that there are no street signs at that corner. I drive by it every day, practically, and there's no North Gate, there's no Dundee, and it's all because of IDOT again, hanging that up. So it's very frustrating that they can't act on anything. Seems crazy, but that's just a comment.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. Trustee Kruger, you had something?
I do, because Trustee Lang called me out. I did, in fact, bring it up when you guys were here last. One of my favorite features of this project were the planter boxes that are on the outside, and I just feel like that's a beautiful amenity to an already beautiful building, and I'm too wondering when that will occur.
Okay. We are working with our landscape consultant who is here, Joe Masick, and he is going to be presenting something to us in about a month or so to do along at the same time that we do the landscaping for IDOT, so we can get the landscape contractor to do the work at the same time. So he's going to be presenting something to us in a month, and we will be glad to submit it to your staff for review before we do anything.
And has that, has the irrigation for these planter boxes already been installed? Or is that part of the design of putting the planter boxes in? How is any of that going to get watered is what I'm wondering.
That's a good question.
I mean, we're hoping to use one of these plants that require monthly irrigation. We haven't not decided what kind of plants, but we leave it up to them. And we'll have to resolve the issue, but we promise, once
With a
IDOT
western
finish,
exposure, you're going to
Yeah.
want something that can handle the heat.
we will have it done, trust me, once the IDOT is done together. All
And then
the,
I guess keep in mind too, what will those planter boxes look like in the winter? I mean, I know my yard is beautiful in the spring and the
With the
summer,
snow.
and then it's desolate. So I'm just wondering, how do you carry that look through all seasons?
No, I don't know. I guess the only way is artificial. It can't be natural, right? If you want it all season, it has to be artificial.
True. I mean, there are ways to certainly dress them up. I mean, I've seen a lot of winter-type things, at least where I work. The landscaping company will come in and they'll put evergreen branches from trees that are laying there, and then they put like crazy, weird red sticks and things in there that, you know.
I'll bring your concern to the attention of our
Absolutely, 'cause it
landscape
really is-
I'll let him know that and see what he comes up with, and we will be glad to submit it to your staff.
It's a really great feature, and I really hope that you can develop that to sort of look like those original.
It's very important for us as well. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. If there are any other, Trustee Vito. Attorney Ferrello, I have a question.
Sure.
The original interest rate on the note, is that set by negotiation, or is it something that's forced by maybe the lenders that they're getting the front-end financing from?
No, that's the result of a negotiation back in 2018. The parties negotiated those rates.
Okay. Why would we go so high, and interest rates were low back then as well?
At the time, we were, and Michael can jump in too, at the time, we were negotiating the TIF incentive, which is about 10% of this project, which is a low percentage. So there was a give and take on other elements. And one of them, I think, was the interest rate at that time. They were much higher then, too, but maybe Michael can jump in as well.
Yeah, I think typically the TIF, the rate on the TIF notes is tied to what it costs the developer to borrow for a construction loan. And it was the same rate that the village had agreed to with the Northgate Crossings project. So while it sounds high to me and you, it really isn't high in the developer world.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. So it's from what they were getting on the front end, basically.
Right, they have to
Okay.
cover their cost of borrowing.
Okay. And to the developers, I mean, if you had any other type of ideas outside of restaurant ideas that might go into those retail spaces, I mean, it just seems so limited as to what you can have in there other than like medical facility. I mean, in a big medical facility, you can't even have maybe a dentist office or something, but any ideas?
Yeah, actually, sorry, but we now open, I mean, we're willing to divide the space to whatever the case is and whatever the village approves to be there, you know. We are open to develop it for small restaurants, telephone companies, whatever it takes for us to do it, we'll lease it.
We do have a limitation, Trustee Vito, too, on non-sales tax generating uses.
Right. What's the percentage of that?
That can go in there. This development, I want to say no more than 15% could be non-sales tax generating.
It's just, I don't know, that might have to be revisited.
Well, it can
at some
be,
point.
it's up to this
I mean,
board,
it's just,
you know, this board approved the.
Yeah, no, I know,
That's That's up to you, you know.
to see now, I mean, to get a nationwide chain in a state like Illinois, a big restaurant, there's no one that's going to do that. It's going to be tough. But, you know, good luck to you. I wish you the best, and hopefully you can get it all filled, and it's good to be occupied on the residential end at least, so that's a good sign. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Mr. Ainsworth, you.
Yeah, just to clarify real quick too, it's 25% on there, and I think there's a sunset clause that we all proactively try to lease the space up within 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, of the RDA. If I quoted that correctly.
No, there's not a sunset clause on the non-sales tax generating uses.
So to that end, village staff has upped our ante on helping them fill the space. We're certainly helping generate leads. The restaurant retail grant will be of a service because it's an existing building and vacant. It qualifies for that grant program. And there's 321 customers right behind them. So we're definitely doing everything we can to help generate interest and continuing the growth of Town Center.
Thank you, sir.
One last comment. As a reminder to the public, and the board's aware of this, the TIF notes that I mentioned, the $6.5 million of TIF incentive, those notes will be paid from the tax increment generated by the project. So the notes won't be paid until the project generates enough property tax to pay for the notes. So we talk about projects being pay-as-you-go. This is a pay-as-you-go project, which means the project pays for itself. So it will pay its own TIF incentive over time, now at the 3% interest rate. So it's a pay-for-performance deal, like all the deals that this board has made in the TIF world.
If we have no other questions or comments, so we're looking at saving ourselves some money in interest and balancing out their expenses on the road once IDOT gets their act together again. We need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Kruger, second trustee Papantos. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rafato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Worker?
Yes. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Item C.
Ordinance amending Chapter 4.32 Alcohol Liquor Dealers and Chapter 4.08 Licensing and Permits of the Village of Wheeling's Municipal Code to create a Class J-2 liquor license to allow the sales and consumption of alcohol liquor in certain common elements of shopping centers in the MXT zoning district.
Mr. Spondilis.
Thank you. Staff was charged through need with the creation of a more usable liquor class for situations like that is occurring at Town Center, where there is an ongoing special event to avoid the need to come in as they have every couple of months in order to secure what the code currently limits them to, which are 9 dates throughout the entire year. So staff took a look at our existing code, originally went to model something useful based on what existed for the Park District, but actually because in this case, the shopping center owner, who will be the ones receiving the license, are not the ones actually selling the liquor. The license class that exists that is closest to that description is the Class J, which was created several years ago for funeral homes and for beauty salons, because they, in those cases, are not selling the liquor, they are giving it away. So this is a take based on the existing Class J license. There are 5 major components that I'll run through quickly, based again on the Class J in order to make this, what we are calling Class J2 license, appropriate for shopping center users in the MXT district. So while we acknowledge that this is for Town Center, we're also trying to make it useful should there be other shopping centers that wish to do something similar. Section A creates the definition of a shopping center. Section B creates an actual J2 license, which includes the sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages in common areas are only to be allowed during scheduled events. Alcoholic beverages can only be sold and served by existing liquor licensed tenants of the shopping center. Alcoholic beverages are not allowed in parking areas or drive aisles. Attendees cannot bring in their own alcoholic beverages, Areas beyond which attendees cannot carry alcoholic beverages must be indicated with temporary signage. No glass containers are allowed. Should the police department determine that additional security is required, the license holder must provide it at their expense, and video gaming is not permitted on the licensed premises. That's all Section B. Section C authorizes the creation of the license. To be clear, tonight the board is creating the license class. Should the board say yes tonight, we will bring the item back to the Liquor Control Commission next meeting for the creation of, the assignment of the license to a particular petitioner. So just to be clear, tonight is the ordinance. The next time would be before the Liquor Commission to actually assign the license. Section 4 is hours of operation. The Class J2 license will allow for operation between the hours of 11 a.m. and 10 p.m., 7 days a week. And the final section is for license fees, just as the Class J license for funeral homes and beauty parlors is $900, the license fee for Class J2 would be the same. The responsibility for basset training remains with the servers. So again, while this license will go to the shopping center entity, they cannot sell or distribute alcohol. Only existing license holders, meaning the restaurants, can sell and distribute the alcohol. Therefore, the responsibility for basset training lies with them. I can answer any questions you may have.
Trustee Vogel, you had a question?
Yeah, several. You say, first of all, that they're only allowed during scheduled events. Or is there a limit to the number of events,
No.
or is it's every day?
We
It's down
simply
below,
ask-
You're saying every day.
The license allows them to operate every day. For security purposes, we simply ask that they give us a calendar of events.
Calendar of events, okay. The other thing is, the shopping center itself, are they going to be required to have dram shop insurance?
Yes. That's correct, isn't it?
The holder of the license would have to have dram shop insurance pursuant to our liquor code. So the holder of the license would have to have dram shop insurance, which is the owner of the shopping center. All of the individual units within the shopping center that are authorized to sell liquor have their own dram shop insurance. So we're going to have layers of coverage of dram
Okay.
shop, the way this is written.
So the person
So he's going to have to
loves
get,
hear.
so he's going to have to get dram shop insurance, and we're going to charge him $900, and there's no profit for him.
You know, that's, I'm not sure how much the dram shop's going to cost, but he definitely would have to get it.
This is the
I
same
think he'd want
as,
to get it.
and this is the same as what we charge funeral homes and beauty
But
salons.
funeral homes make a profit off of that liquor. They're not giving that away. It's built in. I mean, you go have a funeral there, you want liquor, you pay dearly, like $8 a drink. Okay? And beauty shops are making a profit on their product or their service, and they're upping the price in order to give you wine or champagne. They're not giving it away either. I guess what I'm just saying is that it's an expensive proposition for someone that's bringing something to the village and not profiting from it. So I would suggest we look at that fee, and is it necessary?
We could also look at only requiring dram shop from the unit, from the tenants that are going to serve the liquor as part of the festival. We can clarify that as well. So require that for each event where liquor is going to be served in a common area, all of the tenants that will be serving liquor provide evidence of dram shop insurance through their coverage versus.
They have to provide that to get their license now, correct?
Correct. So we could write it in that way.
Yeah,
Clarify,
I
say clarify it in that way.
I've just seen the crowds that these events draw, and for heaven to make the shopping center pay, it just, I mean, I think it's a big benefit to the village. It's bringing people in, and they're not all Wheeling residents. And he's got the expense of, paying for the entertainment already, so I would suggest we either drop it to nothing or drop it somewhat, because again, it's not, they're not making any profits off of this, and the others are, so.
Would you like me to poll the board?
Sure.
And what would the question be?
I think the question would be, should a provision be written that states that dram shop insurance will be provided by the tenants of the shopping center versus the owner of the shopping center?
To be clear, does this mean that the tenants have additional dram shop that they will need to purchase?
It could. It could. It might take some investigation. I'm not sure of the answer to that.
Is the question perhaps, Trustee Vogel, just leave the dram shop as written and simply poll the board about whether there should be a fee associated with?
Yeah, we could do that. If there's a question, I mean, I like the insurance coverage. It never hurts to have more, but I just think either one or the other's got to go. So if you want to go the route, can we drop the fee to zero, not charge them for it? And let them carry the insurance. They may want to carry insurance.
So possibly a more complicated but succinct question would be dram shop insurance, liquor license fee, or both? Dram shop insurance or liquor license fee? That might be the...
Are we able to negotiate dram shop? I mean, they should have dram shop.
There's got to be coverage by whoever is
Whoever's
selling,
serving already has to
serving
have
the
it.
liquor, right there. So
They've
there's
already
got
got
to be
that.
coverage there. This is a pretty unique license with an overlay, the owner getting the license who doesn't actually own a bar per se. So it's kind of a unique question to kind of work through on the fly.
We don't require dram on a special event, a normal special event. Like if Chicago Executive was going to have.
I think you do.
We do?
Definitely do.
We absolutely do.
Single event dram shop?
Absolutely.
On is it the Class L that they've been getting? I can't remember what.
Yes, which is 3 sets of 3, correct?
And how much was that per set?
How much is the license fee?
For L, yes.
The license fee, there isn't one.
So they weren't paying a license fee, having 9 events a year, limited to 9.
Correct.
And now we want to charge them 900 so that they can have possibly, 20?
They can have as many as they want, 365 days a year.
Right, but
This is
Winter
going to take some
comes.
staff time to administer. I mean, police are going to have to probably look at the setup of each of these events. John and Martin's staff, they're going to have to look at this as well. So the $900 is, I think, goes to some of the cost of what, John, your staff's going to incur as well.
Sure, and it goes to the value of holding a liquor license.
But did they have dram for the licenses that we've already granted for the?
No, because those are not meant, I don't know that we've ever had someone actually use all 9. I mean, that's not the intent of them. This is a permanent established ongoing special event, which I guess doesn't make it special.
So special. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter if you're the plaintiff in the case, because you're only going to be able to get 1 set of dram shop insurance at a liability cap of whatever it is now, 72, from either MIA's or City Works. I don't think you're going to be able to legally recover 2 dram policies. Maybe. I've never seen it. I've never seen a double dram, but maybe you can. I don't know.
Double dram.
Managers, how many MXT locations could this potentially go on at? I mean, I know we're thinking just town center, but,
Uptown.
okay.
I mean, there are a couple, and potentially more. I mean, there's more development to be had.
Sure.
I think another option would be if you look at Section 6 of the proposed ordinance. It states now that the license holder shall provide proof of liquor liability insurance and any other insurance covering consumption of alcohol on the licensed area. Maybe add after the word insurance, shall provide proof of liquor liability insurance held by any tenant serving alcohol within the alcohol service area, something like that. So we make sure we do get dram shop from one or more of the tenants that are serving liquor. I think that's probably the answer here, that we rely on the dram shop from the actual license holders out there that sell liquor.
I know we're putting you on the spot, but is that in addition to what they already carry?
I don't know. I think they have to show that the event is covered. My guess is that's going to be a special endorsement on their insurance. You know, that when we have a certificate of insurance and we show coverage, they're probably going to need to contact their insurance carriers to inform them of a special outdoor event, you know, all the particulars. So it may cost a little bit more for that license holder for the insurance, but they are selling liquor, right? And my guess is that's going to get easily covered.
Is there any urgency to approving this tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
He's got 9.
he has 9. They have scheduled more than 9. So if the board doesn't approve something this evening, they will have to cancel some of their events.
Okay.
So why don't we, I would suggest a motion to amend Section 6 to include language that the proof of liquor liability insurance shall be supplied by the tenant serving alcohol. And if that doesn't work after this is approved and we go through a month or two, the rest of this season, we can come back to the board and change it again. But for now, rely on the dram shop insurance of the actual tenant serving liquor.
That way everybody serving would be insured.
Yes.
Yes.
So motion to approve the ordinance with the change
As amended
stated.
by
Yep.
Mr. Ferrolo. Does that sound? Mr. Vogel?
Sure. I still think we shouldn't charge them, but I'll go along with that. It'll save them something.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yep.
Trustee Kruger?
Yep.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Went blank there.
Yes.
Okay, so I need, now that we've polled the board, I need a motion, an actual motion to approve as recommended.
So moved.
Trustee Rufato, second.
Second.
Trustee Papantos, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Just lost it.
President Horker?
I'll play too, yes. Yes.
Sorry.
No worries. That's the last of the official business. Tomorrow night, on a Tuesday night, August 3rd, there's going to be the National Night Out over at the Park District's 100 Community Boulevard at the band shell.
Yes, sir.
This takes the place of where we used to go from subdivision to subdivision, and this is get out and meet your neighbors. There will be live music, free pool admission, giveaways, children's activities, rappelling demo.
Repelling. You're going to repel from
It's not
something
like a rap
repelling.
thing.
I always thought it was with an E.
large.
Repel.
Well, repelling is a whole other thing. Usually
Sorry.
involves a spray.
Talking to the wrong people. Canine demos, food and drinks, vehicle displays, extrication demos, and more. This is an evening out, get to know your neighbors, get to know the police. Generally a good time. There's food and people and music. And will there be alcohol?
No.
Okay. Did I miss anything?
Did I misspeak? There's no alcohol.
No.
Okay, just checking.
We didn't give ourselves a liquor
Everyone
license.
went very quiet very quickly.
Too soon? Okay.
The board refused the license.
That would be the DUI.
We needed the dram insurance. We didn't get it. Anybody else have anything? Trustee Lang?
Yes, I had asked Mr. Spandulis about CMX and their Klieg light that they promised us. A Klieg light is a very nice architecture feature that they were putting on that tower. And when they had their opening, I asked the owner, hey, when you're turning that on, is it some special event? And he goes, what are you talking about? So, and that was this architecture feature that we all approved up here, and it's a great feature. It's a spotlight that shows up into the sky, and I'll let you.
That was part of the concept review. It was not required. So there is no intention of that happening. I think the concern is for the residents that live behind the theater.
How did that slip by?
I think it was for the concern of the residents who live behind the theater.
Okay.
Who used to have that? Sefcik? Used to have that spotlight, the big spotlight? Someone had one here in Wheeling for years.
Wix did at one point.
Wix, maybe it was Wix. But this one with CMX had characters, right? And like it was Batman and, seriously? Yes.
No, this one was coming up from the tower that they have on the side of the front of
Southeast
CMX.
side.
And there was supposed to be lighting in there, and I don't know, I mean, Trustee Rufato was on the Plan Commission, and he was part of that.
Yeah, and I thought it was always coming.
He was part of that as well, and yeah, I don't know how it got to be where it wasn't part of this feature, because that actually was a great feature that they had, and I'm at least follow up to find out how this thing didn't get approved and how it snuck by us, because I would have not let that sneak by us. And I don't think it affects the residents per se, and if it did, then that's a different story. I would like proof of that, but.
Is there any issue with flight traffic? The big light beacon coming out of in the flight path to the airport?
No, there wasn't. So, thank you, that's all I had on that, but I would like to be checked on.
Thank you, Trustee Lang. Trustee Papantos?
Thank you. I just wanted to congratulate Director Kaplan and the rest of the Finance Department for once again receiving the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. 40 years is a long time that you've continually gotten it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Any? No? If there are no other questions or comments, you do have before you the bills for July 15th through July 28th, 2021. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Give the motion to Trustee Rufato. Give the second to Trustee Papantos. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. We have no executive session tonight. That means we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Trustee Kruger, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Good night, everybody. Don't forget the night out tomorrow night over at the Park District.